Hi there. I'm Noeleen Morris. I'm a user of Priority for the last 6 years. I'm the branch controller of a company called OBW Technologies. I think I am the one who traveled the furthest because we're based in Ireland. And so we have been using it for 6 years and do like it. But this is the honest. So some of these are honest. I'm sure James might be a little bit worried, Fody, but you know, I'm giving the honest opinions. But before I do that, I'm going to go into a bit about OBW Technologies and tell you a bit about the company. So we have a picture of JJ and Sharon. It's a husband and wife, which is actually great. I was worried when I joined the company and kind of said husband and wife can either go very, very well or very, very badly. But actually, you have JJ is our entrepreneur who is all the time railing him back on his ideas and what he does. And then we have Sharon, who is all about processes, procedures. So we have a yin and yang, and it works very, very well. So 15 years ago, JJ started the company, and it started off as gas detection, portable gas detection, and lone worker devices. Today, we're completely different in the way that we do fixed projects. So we have a lot of customers, a lot of big customers, complex projects where we look after top pharma companies, semiconductor companies, and we'll go in, we'll design, we'll do the gas detection, design where it needs to be, make sure that we have all the a system that works for every individual company. So we have won some awards. You'll see there we have fastest growing family business and best gas detection supply company. But we do a lot more. I mean, it has grown where before we were probably just, we've got a full set of an automation team, a design team, sales, and we look after life safety products for our customers, and we take that all very seriously. We do a lot of R&D to make sure that we're ahead of what our customers want, even think they need. So visualizations and everything like that. A bit like Priority, in fairness to you, you're always thinking ahead, which is great. And so we invest heavily in that. We are life safety. So as a company, we're all about our ISO and process procedures. So Sharon makes sure that we have all our ISO, our quality, health and safety, environmental, cyber essentials. We all know that cyber security is a huge, huge issue for everybody, and we want to make sure we try to stay ahead of the game. We have a lot of training and development, and we have, this is a lot of our customers or our suppliers and the systems that we use. But it isn't only about, getting our certifications. It really is about actually delving in and understanding. So I look after the ESG, environmental, social, and governance, on top of the hat of financial controller. But we make sure that we're doing what's right, sustainable, making sure we're doing everything as best as we can. Great company to work for, have to say. I love it. Couldn't be more proud of it on where it's come in the last 6 years, from growing from a very small company to now we are the supplier of choice in Ireland, and we are looking at going abroad. So you might hear of us in a couple of years' time, and next year maybe even in the UK and in Europe. So then our journey with Priority. So back in August of 2019, we purchased, and I know there's a lot of customers here who are actually even longer customers or whatever. I don't know how you managed to get away from standing up here, but there you have it. We bought in 2019. It was Sharon who actually headed looking for that system. And then from August to November, we were inputting all the financial data, and then I joined in November. And today, it's daily. Everything we do is priority. We have, although there's 90 people in the company, there is 49 full users, there's 9 mobile users, and then there's some that aren't using it but will be in the next while. So to where we are today, and what you find with priority is it's ever evolving. I mean, I don't think we keep on doing new developments. I mean, I did actually a survey with the whole company so that we're not just getting the finance perspective of this for this presentation. Timing-wise wasn't great. We just rolled out a big development with our CRM system, and there's a lot of grey hair around the place, some balding because of it, but we have, but I'll give you the results of that in the next few minutes. So I know that Nigel, you talked about why you chose it, and you were actually very organised. I'm very impressed that you had brought in the consultant and stuff like that. When we actually, in 2019, even though we're 92 staff now, at the time there was probably only 17 in our company, so it was a complete different thing. And so when we were looking at it, we had Sage, so we were running from, and like you said, all the different systems weren't talking to each other, it was very messy. So we moved at the time to unify them all together. And then we had real time with stock, making sure that everything was there and traceable from start to finish. The traceability was something that we love. So when you have your quote to the sales order, to the goods, to the billing, and actually it did save money, because what you found is that there was engineers going out to site. They would go and do the honours of putting something into a system, and lo and behold, finance wouldn't find out about it, so therefore it wasn't billed and what have you. But it was because we were a smaller company and you could do it. As we grew, if we didn't have priority, we wouldn't be here today, because we wouldn't have been able to keep up with it. So it has grown with us, and so we have grown together. So we are now on version 24, so we will be looking at going to 25. I'm always a little bit worried about the move, but from finance, I'm going to give you the bit of the things that we like in finance. So we love, I mean, I have to say, I do love priority. I do love that at a click of a button, that you can actually do all the likes of the batch invoicing, remittance invoices, so that you're not doing, I mean, and I remember when I started in the company, and everything was to send a statement, you were going, downloading, they were putting it into PDF, sending it off with an email. And I remember that one day when trying to persuade them, look, you just need to press this button and all the statements will go. And I remember them going, no, 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 no. And I remember just pressing it and the horror and kind of going, and I said, look, if something goes wrong, it's my fault, so it's all fine. But it's a one-click statements, invoicing, emailing, that it's all going all together. Our vendor payment run, the file, we can actually just send it to the bank. Foreign currency, for us, we have foreign currency, and we buy from suppliers in Europe and the UK, and the balance sheet, well, I don't want to bore now with the accounting stuff, but a balance sheet has to be converted at the balance sheet date. It all needs to be converted. It actually does it for it. So in other words, priority, with the one click on the menu, you can actually go and do all that. So it is great. And actually, one thing that I hadn't known, and I think I found out by mistake, was that the system can automatically bring in, so if any of you are using foreign currency, the system can actually bring in all the foreign currency rates into the system so that you don't have to keep on putting them in yourself. I don't know how I found out that with talking to somebody, but I was like going, that saved a lot of time for us, because having to go in, find out the rate, put it in, and what have you. Deferred revenue and prepaid invoice allocation. Again, I didn't know this immediately. We were doing it where I was doing a journal entry every time your insurance invoice is over a year. but you wanted to split it into the accounts to have it in the year, I was actually doing a journal entry. But actually, you can put in the invoice, tell the date from this invoice is from January to December. The system would then actually automatically do it. I'm sure some of you are kind of going, how'd she not know that? And then others are kind of going, yeah, I didn't know that either. So, yeah, thanks. So, but actually, it does it for you. And so things like that, we find great. Even so some of our invoices, sales invoices, we might bill somebody quarterly. And obviously, the revenue has to go into the accounts every month as opposed to, so on your sales invoice, you can actually set the period to say it's from 1st of January to the 31st of March. Then all of a sudden, the system does the honors of actually dividing that revenue into the accounts for the month that it relates to. So that was great. Recurring journals, again, it took me a couple of years to even realize all these kind of things. I mean, you get a lease, it's got over 36 months. You're doing your bank transaction every single month or doing it. Recurring journals, it was like going, it does it. You put it in once, it automatically does it. Again, some of this stuff might be normal for you, but for us, it was like, oh, this is great. It makes life easier. And we're all about trying to make sure that it's one click less. If I keep on saying if we can just avoid the clicks, it works. Recently, we've actually got invoice approval workflows with traceability. So now we send out invoices or emails to people going, approve this invoice or whatever, and it gives a link and it will bring you directly into priority so that they can actually change the status from waiting approval to approved or what have you. Daily bank recs. We do daily bank recs, and I did trial MoneyHub. I won't get into it too much, but for us, I suppose, it worked. I loved it, and it was something that she presented 2 years ago, I think. It could be even longer. I didn't realize I was the first to actually test it. So I loved it, but it actually was too much work in the way that sometimes it worked for us and sometimes it didn't or whatever. So we rolled back from it, but the reconciliation sheet is great. And that's not to say I won't come back to it. I actually do think that it will. It's there, but it's just wasn't for us. And could be because of an Irish bank, versus a UK. Drag and drop. So only recently, I actually, as a financial controller, the team are putting in the invoices, and sometimes I'd go in to actually see the invoice and find out what it relates to. But of course, you don't know, and they wouldn't have put in enough detail. Then I'm kind of wondering, what is that? Have to go to SharePoint to find out the invoice. So every invoice now, purchase invoice, is dragged, dropped in, so it's there, so that if I've got a query or if somebody's got a query, you're not looking in all different places. It's in there with the GI number, so and you can double click and look at the PDF on where it is. So it's great. Full document linkage. We know that we can keep on drilling down, keep on getting it until we're back to the quotation even. So it just works well for us. Priority analytics we are using and we love. So very excited about the priority lens as well. It is something that we are using. So not everybody has used it yet. Probably a few in the company needs to actually learn more and spend some time with it, but it's there. And things like profitability per part for us, for me, I sit down and everything that I look at, I want to make sure that we're making a profit on it. So I did go to the rest of the team and kind of ask, that's from finance side. So I did ask our logistics and purchasing team what they like, and sorry now, I know there's a lot on it, but so they had the customization. I think everybody likes the customization that they were able to have the delivery dockets. We've done our new development, and as part of that, we have our engineers who are going on site and calibrating the systems, and now with the system that we've developed, we're able to actually send the calibration cert there and then to the customer. They can get it, and it's also giving us prompts to say, actually, the next calibration is due. So the system is working for us. customer and supplier price list. It's great to be able to have per customer the price list and even the suppliers. We've just recently gone with the MRP module, so it's helping with the stock forecasting. The audit trail. I think everybody loves to know where a part, I mean, you do it where you keep on drilling down, where did this part, what happened to it, where you know, even transfer from one warehouse to another or whatever. So we can actually keep on going. Look at the traceability is huge. Color coding, price quotations for margin control. So this is the one I love. So as an accountant, this is the one that I just get excited by, because all of a sudden everybody says they're looking and quoting for something. And because we are resellers of, some of our resellers of product, we do actually panels assembly as well, but they know that if it's red, don't sell it at that price. We just can't. So if it's green, go ahead. If it's orange, Noeleen could be on the rampage looking for you, but if it's red, you know, you just don't go. So that's worked very well for us. So color coding is so simple to do. Internal dialogue and status change history. Everybody knows it's like there's traceability on everything, which is great because you have what has happened, when did it happen, and there. And obviously then we have the traceability. Systems and usability, I mean, I was actually, one of the things that I learned today was that on the as the service, where we have our customer service calls, there's training on that. I didn't actually realize there's training because I've been using Priority Expert, the website for Priority Expert, to get, when somebody starts new, it's like going, where do you start sometimes? It is a mammoth system. And some of the things I do is get the Priority Expert and you know, even dashboards, rather than having to go through each one, setting up your dashboard or whatever. So I've used that, and it's got all the SOPs, and it's got but I'll be interested to go through the priority ones training. Custom layout and dashboards, everybody can do their own. F6, keep on drilling down, and the search functions. And I think I think the one thing that everybody chooses priority is the developments. I mean, in ways they give us the headaches because you're developing, but on the same breath, it is a thing that makes it custom, you know, for our business. It does what we want it to do. Not always sometimes how we actually want it to do, but we eventually get there. So it does, it can grow with your business, and as your business grows, it can do all these things. And then cloud access for, we know we've got remote workers now, and automation's funny enough, the calibrations certs came up again because it's new. Like any system, it's, and this is from our point of view, price quotation layout, we wanted to have where somebody could have an option to have different types of gases, or maybe where the price quotation was more flexible. We haven't been able to get it yet, and I'm hoping over there at that table there, you might options where rather than just a total, we can actually have, in other words, somebody can tick to say, yes, you want that option, and we haven't been able to get that. COGS, I think anybody who knows me knows that I have an issue with COGS. Poor James, I think, is sick of listening to me, and it is a user, I understand why we have the COGS issue. Somebody does the honors of, we have an inventory counted, controlled part, and somebody says, oh, it's so small, we don't want it to be inventory controlled, or vice versa, and the COGS, the system can't do that, so all of a sudden you have but I'm all about balances and checks being the accountant, so the balance sheet has to equal to the inventory valuation report. That's, for me, is number one, and sometimes it doesn't. No, it never does. So there is journal entries to be done all the time, and what I'd love is that I had one report which told me why it isn't actually doing that. And I understand why, and it's sometimes it's systems, you know, user problems, but again, And I would like to see some changes there. There's high development costs. I think we all know that when you buy it, you get excited because of what it can do. And then there's obviously, for anything you have to do, it does cost. Somebody said user interface can feel dated. Like I'm including everybody's commentary here. So training and onboarding is time consuming. And I think because we do so many developments, and you find that you have to keep on training people up on it, and our engineers are on site at the moment using the mobile app, and there's a frustration because we're trying to make sure that if we go in and calibrate a unit, that the serial number is there, and we make sure that there's a drop down of the unit so they're taking it, and there's a lot of work in it, but there's a lot of training to go on. And I think their comment was kind of the functionality is limited then on the mobile. We're getting where customers want to have the invoice sent to two addresses, and the system at the moment can only send it to one. And you can actually correct me if any of these things that I've got them wrong or whatever. And I personally have got an upgrade hesitancy, but this is only for me personally. I hate to, you do your testing, and then I have to actually test and sign that to say everything's working. And you do so many developments with Priority. To say that everything is working, it's like to test everything is very, very difficult. So as I said, we're at 24.0. Do you think we'll go to 25? But it's when, and because we're doing so many other developments, we'll just have to see. Lessons learned. So I know, Nigel, you talked about what you did and didn't. So, but one of the things that we found was we are still having problems with the way we set up our BAT, because what we tried to do was we tried to mirror what all the codes and everything that was done in Priority, or in Sage in Priority. And actually, if we only looked at what Priority did and it was understanding, it was kind of like that fear factor ourselves going, people know what was done and they want to have the same thing. But actually, it was just before I joined, and if I was back again, I would have said, learn what it does. Don't keep on changing just because the system is, understand it and try to go from there. And a personal one for me is I don't want to be the first to trial something. So even though you have your users and what have you, I don't want to be the first because we're just too busy. Sorry. Too busy to be doing that. So for me, I wouldn't do the Money Hub again for the point of that, what was supposed to do was save me a lot of time. I was supposed to be able to download my bank statements in, but actually what it was I never have to go to the bank. I had to go to the bank to check, then tell Cherry that this is in the team or whatever. So, but again, I suppose if everybody did that, we'd be in trouble, wouldn't we? So hopefully not everybody's going to be like me and be adverse to it. With developments, it's about making sure that the lesson we've learned, even with the most recent one, is, you hear the saying of measure twice, cut once. So we would definitely take your time to make sure that you create a flow chart before development. Make sure you know what you want. Don't just go for it and just hope for the best and kind of go, and make no assumptions. I mean, don't assume, define everything that you want, because it's like going, sometimes you're like going, but I assumed lot numbers would do. It's like going, make no assumptions, don't assume things. And again, understand Priority and what it does or whatever. And for us, it's continuous training to make sure. So I'm going to preface this by, so I sent out a survey to the whole company, and I kind of said it's bad timing on when we're looking at this, because with any company, there's people who are very much promoters, and they really love the change and they get all excited, and then there's others which are they're frightened of their life of what it's like, can we not just keep doing the same thing? So we have done a big development, and that has given people headaches. But in saying that, it's done exactly what we wanted it to do. And it is just the data migration and the work that has to go into it is giving a lot of people headaches. But actually everybody has said they see why we did it. It's going to be fabulous. It's going to be a game changer for what we're doing. But it's at the stage where we've just done it, and they're just learning how to do it. So on that, 52% responded, which is very good, and 70% would either recommend priority or were neutral on it. 30% did say they wouldn't recommend it, but I'm not quite sure. Is it because they don't know what else, or were they just hitting their heads off? It couldn't do what they wanted to do, or they were learning it, or they found it hard. So the experience with Medatech has been very good. I mean, I think a lot of the comments were fair, good, and some of the suggestions were faster timing with development works, and I think there's two in it for that. There's us for not probably making sure we knew what we wanted exactly at the start, or we thought we did, and then it evolves. More training on possible functions. I think people kind of feel sometimes, priority has so much stuff, but you'd love to know, it's easy to ask the questions when you know something, but it's what you don't know. And it's, so some of the stuff you'd love to actually say, I'd love for you to understand our business, to understand it even more. It's not as easy, I suppose, getting on a plane over to Ireland, but it's to understand it and kind of nearly recommend what we could do, and better understanding of our needs. The key lessons, and actually from this, the key lessons for us was actually, it was good to do the survey internally, because I realized actually one department had the same answers, which was, it isn't doing, or they find it very hard. But actually, that's our fault. We haven't trained that department on getting what they need. So one of the things we'll be doing when we go back is actually training that department so that they are doing what they're supposed to do. And ongoing integration means continuous training. I mean, honestly, I'd love, sometimes I do feel that some of the stuff that we are doing can't be unique to us. The one thing that I love about Priority is that the seamless emails to customers directly from there or whatever. But what we're finding, and I'm sure other people are, is that our customers and suppliers are bringing their own portals. So there's Coupa, Ariba. So now all of a sudden, instead of us having to press that button to send all the invoices, people want us to actually, no, we want our invoice uploaded onto our system. And it's like, that's defeating the purpose. That's for us going backwards, because now we have to actually send it to our email. Then we know that means that we have to put it onto a portal. And we are currently developing with Coupa is one of those portals. And we're having to spend, because one of the customers, or the suppliers, the customers who are using it, is a very, very large customer. So for us not to have this development will cost us too much time. So we have to now do, and in fairness, Tara is doing a great job of making sure that we're connected directly. So rather than actually doing the email, it will seamlessly go. But again, it's development, it's costs. So all these things which were lovely, where we were able to actually do it, is now a bit more development. So what we'd love to see, more proactive guidance from Medatech, and I suppose this comes from maybe sometimes the stuff I find, it's like going, and maybe Jamal with all the stuff of what we should be using if we're not using. That would be lovely to know. It's like going, so better training resources, so videoing, onboarding, and I know with the developments, that maybe as part of the development process, that it would be good sometimes to have the training, from, so that people know when they're starting what we're getting into and what we're doing. So smarter workflows, and the AI suggestions are great. In fairness, we will be using those more, and we're not using those enough at the moment. So it was exciting to see them working in live today. The mobile, people are saying that they'd like more mobile enhanced features there. Easier portal integrations, but I know that as I think talking to people, it's like, there's thousands, there's hundreds of thousands of customers, and that are the integrations. You can't have every integration, but for us, we're going to go backwards if we don't do these integrations with our customers. Community sharing of developments is probably what I'd love to see. I think we all kind of go, when we're looking at a problem, it's like going, this can't be just my problem. Surely I'm not the only person that is having this problem. And you're kind of going, I have to develop this, and I have to, then you're thinking, oh God, here we go. So I'd love, it's like going, what do you need? What do we need? It costs us all. Now that we're after doing the development in our calibrations, I hope we don't pass that on, because maybe it's cost us so much money, you kind of feel, if there was a competitor out there, it's going to be, it's our competitive edge gone. But in saying that, it would have been lovely if we had somebody who was doing something similar to us and said, actually, do you know what, let's develop something together. Mightn't do 100% but it will get to 80% of what we want and then branch off, so that we're not paying for the full development costs of it. But maybe that might work, maybe that might not. Just on the final thoughts, I suppose I did want it to be a broad of what works for us and what doesn't. And it's like any system. There's nobody, I don't think that, there's nobody that would stand up here and say that every system works perfectly for them. Every system has issues or whatever. But what I would say is priority has grown with us. We've grown because of priority. If we were back again, would I be going with priority? Absolutely, 100%. There is no part of me that ever says we made the wrong decision. We didn't make the wrong decision. Priority is right for the business. We are able to, it adapts every year. I mean, even having a conference like this where we're actually seeing what's new is great, because it's all and the roadmap is there, and it's you can see where it's going to. So we do love it. Some things that we're kind of thinking about at the moment is, should we upgrade to version 25? Is there any issues or improvements? Would you recommend moving from 24 that we're on? Has other people got experiences with Money Hub? Does it work for others? I'd actually love to have it back again. So, I mean, yeah, working? Very good. Yeah, so I mean, so there is things that we do love and that we want to get, we would like to see back again. We're going to go with the pay by link. So James, I think we're going to have that in the next while, where we want to give the customer every opportunity to pay, because sometimes we have huge customers where, but then you have the small little customers which you have to do a calibration for. And you're thinking, you spend all this administration time with collecting money, because they're normally the ones that it's so small, they don't take any notice of it, and our collections, we're spending time on it. So we're trying to put the pay by link, or at the quote stage, at the sales order stage, at the, at every stage of and at invoice stage, so to give people the opportunity. I am kind of fearful that, there's some accounts departments that they send in an invoice or the quote, and they end up paying it, and then if you send it in again, they end up, we could be paid many times and end up an administration nightmare. So we'll look at that, but we're hoping to get that. If anybody wants to talk to me about COGS, and if it's working fabulously for you, talk to me. But in fairness, Jarek has said that he is going to get me involved with a conversation with one of the specialists, so I appreciate that. Because as I said, it's something that every month I keep on going, it's taking too long to reconcile, so it's something we should look at. VAT and Biz, we're an Irish company. I know that we have actually the UK company, and it connects directly to HMRC, so you can actually send. I can't imagine for Ireland, it's not the biggest with the revenue, the Irish Revenue Commissioners connecting, but it would be lovely. But we have, like our Viz report, there's been an issue with something in Germany that's caused us problems or whatever, so we're looking at that. And best practices for portal integrations. I mean, I don't know how many portals there is, but like if people find that they're using the if there's Ariba and Coupa and all these integrations, if people could come together for those kind of, pay for those, so if it's worth their while. So that is it. I hope, James, that he's not regretting. I did. I mean, the one thing I will say is we have no regrets. We don't have any regrets. And I know that there's a lot of customers who are using it a long time and always frightened to even upgrade or do whatever. But it has worked with us. We have grown as a company. When I joined, 17 people. Now we're at 92. We will be this time next year. It'll have grown more. And it's lovely to know the priority has grown with us, and it does what it does. So that's it. If anybody has any questions, by all means do. But good.